Hi guys, welcome to Bangkok, Thailand. This is going to have to be a little bit of a short first video because I lost all of the light here trying to figure out how to get this video started. So we will make this a little bit short today. But anyway, I'm just here to tell you a little bit about life in Thailand, and the first thing I should start about is this is about the only time of day. It's 6:45 here at night, and this is about the only time of day that you can actually sit for a period of time outside because it is so hot in Thailand um, all the time. And I kind of love that. Actually, I think it's quite nice. Most people don't think as like Southeast Asia would be the perfect destination for warm weather, but you know, most people think California really is where it's at because it's this nice kind of moderate weather with pretty good beaches, you know, and I'm from California, so I could say that. But let me tell you, Thailand is amazing and it's hot all the time. I would say in Fahrenheit, we never get below about 80 degrees. Maybe a couple of days a year it gets below that. The humidity ranges, but it's pretty nice. And so now is monsoon season, and so it has been gathering all of its energy for a storm to come up. All the clouds are kind of gathering over the top. Strangely enough, I'm not sure if this is the case everywhere, but when a storm is coming in Thailand, you can always tell because it gets really windy, super windy. Everything kind of blows around for about 3 or 4 minutes, and then there's this huge storm. The nice thing about monsoon season here is that it only rains about once a day, and it pours so hard that possibly if you held your hand out in front of you, you probably couldn't even see your hand in a rainstorm. Like, it's so thick with water. And it just rains for about an hour, and then it's done. And it goes back to its nice, pretty weather that everyone's happy with. And the really great part about the monsoon season, for most people who don't like super hot weather like I do, is it's cold. It cools down the weather, I would say 10 degrees, a lot actually. So everyone's pretty comfortable. So that's your weather forecast for the days. It's monsoon season in Thailand. So anyway, I am just here to talk a little bit about being an expat in Thailand. I have lived in Thailand as an expat for 9 years now, and I love it. I'm originally from America, but I wouldn't voluntarily go back unless I had to. It's such a wonderful place. Now, I can't say this about all places in Asia, but living in Thailand is such a treat. It is, I don't think every place is like, in fact, I know every place is not as wonderful to be an expat, someone who lives outside of their country. I know that this is one of the better places in all of Asia to do this. But I think the Philippines actually has quite a few people that retire there. There's a lot of people in northern Thailand. It's a little bit cooler up there, and there's lots of mountains and greeneries. You know, I'm in the city, and actually looking at it, you can't tell that I'm in the city because I have this beautiful outside area. But a lot of people, they retire up in northern Thailand, and it's beautiful, and there's a lot less people and a lot less commotion and cars and motorbikes, and everything just kind of moves at a much slower pace. So a lot of people enjoy that. You have a large portion of people who, if they're retiring, they love to live on the islands. I think Thailand, if I were to say what some of the best things about Thailand would be, I would probably say the islands and the food. So let's start with the islands. The islands are amazing. In fact, I am sure that they're better than everybody else's islands. Can I say that? I can say that, right? I'm not partial. I've traveled around. I've looked at other people's islands. Our islands are just the best. Um, I grew up with this mentality, you know, everyone in America kind of has this mentality that Hawaii is kind of the place to be and how amazing it is. And it's nice, but I mean, our islands are way better. I mean, yes, you have to fly halfway across the world to get here, but the accommodation is much cheaper in Thailand than you would surely spend in Hawaii or anywhere in America or even Mexico, surely. So I think the islands here are really beautiful, and we have quite a few to choose from. I would say like 8 or 9. I mean, the big ones are like 4, but there's a lot of quite small ones around, maybe even more than that, 12 or something. They're very beautiful in the south. You get that kind of like crystal greenish color water, which I think is just stunning. Like, you could show me all the beaches in the world, but if you don't have that color water, I'm not impressed. But Bali is really beautiful because they have these like gigantic waves with that crystal green water. So I was pretty impressed by that, actually, Bali. But yeah, I mean, Thailand is really amazing. And like I said, the accommodation, I'm trying to get people to not go to Hawaii, to come here instead. The flight is not as expensive as you would think it would be. People kind of have in their mind it's like thousands of dollars to fly to Thailand, but realistically, I think it's about, I would say from the Americas, depending where you are in the Americas, it's around $1,000 to maybe 1,400, depending where you are. If you're in Europe, I would say it's somewhere closer to $600 to 1,000, depending on the time of year. So that's kind of interesting for people to know. And then once you're here, I mean, everything is far less inexpensive. The hotels, you know, you can stay at a 5-star hotel in Bangkok or in Thailand, and it's, I would say starting prices is $80. Like, you find me that anywhere else in the world. And I will eat my words, but that just doesn't happen. And they're nice. You know, Bangkok has been around for years. We have this very famous, one of the first like really famous hotels in Bangkok is the Oriental Hotel, and it's on the Chao Phraya River. And it's just, I mean, it kind of like was at the very beginning of like 5-star hotel and services and amazingness. And it's still there. I mean, that one is a couple of $100 a night, but it's amazing and beautiful, and it's on the river. Bangkok's kind of interesting. A lot of people don't know this. You know, Thailand is very long in its country, but the Bangkok is actually separated, almost like a mini island. There's a river that runs right past the Bangkok that kind of separates it from Thailand. And there's 8 bridges that run across, and you have to come over one of these bridges to get from basically the mainland into Bangkok. And so that's kind of an interesting fact. But this very famous hotel is right next to one of those bridges that's not so far from me. So visiting is a must-have for our country. It's beautiful. And the other thing that I will mention, aside from it being inexpensive and we have the best islands in the world, and we have cheap, amazing accommodation, is that the food is amazing. I mean, food in Thailand for me is the gem, and I really like food. You will see me talk about food, and I will get very excited about it. But I find in like Southeast Asia, like Thailand is just like the gem of flavors and kind of mixtures of foods and seasonings. I mean, it's got more spice here. It's kind of the most amazing of all of them. And then as you kind of go into the rest of Southeast Asia, you lose it. You get a little less spice. You get a little less inventiveness. You know, I mean, of course, Laos doesn't have the kind of tourism and stuff that we do here. So they have not as amazing food, but Lao is probably the close. Cambodia, I would think it's maybe not the most interesting food. But Thailand's food is just amazing. I mean, we have green curries, and we have papaya salads, and we have yum tua pru, which is kind of like this mix. It's a wing bean. You wouldn't know wing bean if you looked it up, but let me tell you, they're kind of interesting. They look like kind of long spidery legs if they had green legs. Anyway, and then it's kind of like with minced meat, and it's delicious, and it has like a cooked egg over the top of it. And somebody told me that like an average dish in Thailand uses something like 15 different just spices. And I think that's very true. And I think actually, truthfully, in my opinion, I believe the best food in Thailand is the soups. And a lot of people don't eat soups that are tourists, then they come here because it's hot. So you say to yourself, oh, why would I eat soup? It's hot. In Asian countries, in hot places, they believe this kind of like cleanses your system a little bit by this eating this hot soup. And so next time you're at a Thai restaurant or you're here, which would be great, you should definitely check out the soups. The most famous one is the tom yum, which is kind of this amazing red color soup. They usually serve it with prawns, but it can have all sorts of stuff. Very lemongrass flavored. Anyways, so yes, the food is amazing here, and the street food is very healthy to eat. I have never gotten sick in 9 years, and I eat street food all the time, and I've never gotten sick. I have gotten sick in many other countries, but I've never gotten sick in Thailand from street food, and they love street food. Like, Thailand is a country full, like, Thai people are snackers. They just love to snack. It's like a whole snacking culture. They kind of get up and they have breakfast whatever time they get up. And there are some specialty breakfast things that they do here, but there's not very many of them. Most of the time they would just eat the same food they would eat for lunch or dinner, and they would eat it for breakfast. But they would snack in the morning. You know, in offices, it's tradition to everyone kind of just brings something to share in the office. It could be anything from bananas to kind of like they have sweet coconut, like kind of candies and things to eat. They have all sorts of, they love like stuff on a stick. You can put squid on a stick, fish balls on a stick, all sorts of very interesting things. And this would all be shared, everything. Like they traditionally, Thai people, they would never eat alone if at a meal, if they can avoid it. It's very rare to see a Thai person eating all by themselves. It's just raised culturally in them that they eat in groups, and they enjoy that, and they will always kind of be in a group together. They always eat, they always share everything. If they went to an Italian restaurant and they got a plate of spaghetti, they would share it. I'm not kidding. You think I'm kidding, but I'm really not kidding. They share everything. So traditionally, this is just their culture, and so from the minute they finish breakfast, they're snacking until lunchtime, and then they all eat together at lunch. And depending on where it is, if it's kind of like a bigger table with many people, they would share all that stuff. And then the afternoon is continued snacks. And then they would have dinner, and then they would just snack more. And it's just the snacking culture, and they just love it. And so this is why they have such great food here, is because it's kind of, surprisingly, there's a lot of 7-Elevens. If you don't know what that is, it's kind of like a fast mini mart here. And this has just become popular, I would say, like in the last 6 years. But other than that, you have this mentality of people who really enjoy to eat together and to just snack all the time. And so the stuff has to be kind of small and shareable. So most of the food that you see on the street that they still sell on the street, even with the invention of the 7-Eleven, is very shareable, snackable food. They have a lot of fruits. I mean, you could get all sorts of fruits from watermelons to guavas, and people bring bags of fruits into the office, and it doesn't matter what kind. I mean, even if you were like on a Thai Airways flight, they will be sharing their little snacks that everyone brought on board in the back. It's just very traditional to their culture. They're a going culture, very very happy people. I mean, Thailand, literally the tagline for Thailand, I see it in the country all the time. I'm sure it's got to be other places, but it says land of smiles. This is the first thing that you see when you come into to the airport here, is you see land of smiles. And it's true. I mean, they are just really happy all the time. They have a million different smiles, and I'm sure they mean all sorts of different things. You know, maybe Thai people can tell when the other person is not quite as happy, but it's a really easy place to live because everyone here is just so nice and they're always smiling. So that is just we're gonna finish there because, as you can see, the light has gone. I am at 1,000 pixels at the moment. I can see it myself. So I just wanted to say thank you for those that tuned in. We will continue to talk about Thailand and being an expat here in Thailand, and a woman expat, and how I did it. So I hope you guys can tune in another time. And I will have to tell the story when I have a little bit more time of my boyfriend as an Italian chef in Bangkok. So if you see me on the next round, I will bring that up in that one. Okay, I hope everyone's having a good day around the world. All right, guys, bye.